game is about a week away, so
Yeah.
you got all the answers for your offensive line, right?
Yeah, it's 8 days. We're making that transition into TCU. We like to talk about during camp or when we have these crossover periods, we go against Chris Wilson and we go against the Colorado defense, and then now we're changing over. Now we're going against TCU and their defense. So I think this has been the first full day we were devoted a majority of our time, which has been awesome, and I really like the attention to details and getting the reps in, and if you're not in, getting the mental reps. So I really like where the guys are, man. It's been fun, to be honest. It's been fun to work with a bunch of hungry young men that have the ability and have the capability, and now we're putting it all together.
How's Tommy Brown's progression coming back from the injury?
Yeah, Tommy's been awesome. Obviously, he's been out there. The extent, you got to talk to Coach Durrell regarding, that. But really like where Tommy is, where he's at currently, and when you play in Alabama for 4 years, his foundation's really strong from a football IQ standpoint. So that part, he's been locked in with us. Now it's just getting the physical stuff back. So like where he's at, and like to see him keep progressing.
Is he going to be ready for TCU?
Yeah, it's Coach Durrell. You ask him.
So Frank and Casey played last season on the right side.
Yeah.
We've seen them on the left this fall.
Yeah.
Is that where you see them starting the season out because they've been there throughout the fall?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like those two together. They're roommates, they're friends. They've been doing this a long time. I think when you get in the O-line, there's comfort level to it, So, your calls become less because you're so used to the sound that the guy makes and the umph and the hey, and so you get used to that. And whether they go out there left guard, left tackle, you got to be at the game Friday night. 8:04, you'll know where the lineup is. So.
I spoke to Casey Roddick and Noah Pensky last week. They gave glowing reviews on the coaching you've provided for them this season. What was probably the biggest thing you've learned in your time before you got here?
I mean, I think I've been blessed when I retired and transitioned to coaching, just being in so many different systems, right? I think, every system I've been able to learn something new that I hadn't been. I've been started in a pro style system, then we went to a no huddle system, which is kind of what we're running now at times. Then I was in a spread system, an up tempo spread system. Then my year at Michigan kind of got back into the gap schemes and being able to do all the things that I've wanted to do, right? Be a multiple run scheme and being with Josh Gaddis and Sharon Moore it just kept growing my knowledge of the game, and because you get in a system and you might have a focus here or focus there, but I want to be multiple. I want when the NFL turns on our film to see the guys being able to run all the different run schemes, being able to have multiple protections. I think because of my time in the NFL and evaluating linemen, right? You watch guys and they just slide left or they slide right or they only run inside zone read. I don't think that sets them up for success at the next level. So when this thing came about with Coach Durrell and Coach Sanford, I wanted to make sure it was the right fit for what I wanted to do, and I think it's been awesome. We're gonna be multiple and in every facet, not just multiple in run schemes, just multiple in every which way you can think of. So I think my career track, being in all the different systems, I think has made me a better coach today. So hopefully they're feeling that.
You weren't here last year, but do you have a sense for the areas Jake Wiley's kind of made strides in areas that he feels more confident?
Yeah, Jake's first year, as a starter, as a player last year, right? He was just so young and so new. So we've kind of sat down and talked about everybody has deficiencies. So we talk about minimizing your deficiencies and maximizing what you're really good at. So if I can raise your floor and increase and maximize your strengths, man, you can be a good player. So Jake knows his weaknesses. You can't avoid them, right? A guy with short arms, I can't make his arms longer, but I can utilize his strengths. And so Jake's a very athletic guy. And so if Jake starts efficiently, right, he gives himself a great chance to be successful. And so we've talked about, especially in the pass game, right? And I know there's an area of struggle last year. We said, okay, this is what you're good at. This is where you struggle. Okay, well, let's control the struggle part and maximize what you're really good at. So he's done a great job of accepting, the truth in a way and saying, okay, I can not mask it, but I don't have to, I'm not going to put myself in a position to be vulnerable on the edge.
We are seeing a strong O-line this season, or these scrimmages. What are you fine-tuning these last final weeks and days?
Just getting into, as we get through fall camp, we put in things conceptually, right? You're going to spend one day, it's going to be all inside zone, it's going to be outside zone, then it's going to be gap scheme, and then it's going to be whatever else. So now it's about doing everything on the same day, and then really a different defense, right? Being able to say, okay, whether you're going against a 4 down or a 3 down or a 5 down team, well, now you got to be able to adjust all those runs in a whole period, because that's what the defense does. And so it's been fun with the transition. I think the guys have learned from it, especially because they have experience. And I think playing against Coach Wilson has been awesome for our guys, because we see it so much on a daily basis.
We often ask receivers about their rapport with the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. How important is the rapport between the center and the quarterback, and how are you seeing that in the competition right now?
No, I think, with my playing experience, if you want to play center for me, you're held to a higher standard, right? Because you don't, if the ball does not get to the quarterback, whether you're in gun or under center, the play never can start. So they're held to a higher standard. They're the ones that start our ID system, and if they don't ID it correctly, we could be off and have an unsuccessful play. So I hold those guys to the highest of the standard in the O-line room, and then we practice at a time. If the guy, whether the quarterback center exchange and under center or gun is poor that day, I mean, they're going to continue to work on it after practice. We do a ton pre-practice, but then post-practice, it's not time to go shower. No, let's get 20, 30, 40 snaps in, so we can lock that in and be better.
We've heard a lot about the depth of this group, but you also have guys like Tommy, Casey, and Noah who played all over the offensive line. What does that versatility do for your group, and does that give you confidence in it?
Yes, no, it definitely does. And with Coach Durrell, spent a lot of time in the NFL. We modeled the NFL where if you don't start at left tackle, you better be able to play 2 or 3 positions, right? Nobody, and when I recruit you or you're young in the system, nobody is a left tackle. Nobody's a right tackle. You play tackle, and then you play guard. And I think it helps when you get to the season, guys are banged up, and you're able to say, okay, Casey, go out there and jump and play right tackle. And he's not looking at you cross-eyed like, whoa. He's like, oh, I've done that. Yeah, I'm good. Or a tackle moving inside. So having the versatility allows you to play the best 5 or the best 6. Not pigeonholed where he's your 5th best or your 8th best offensive line, but he's the only one that plays left tackle. I want guys, and then the competition raises. And as we can move guys around and you feel the competition, everybody, it's natural as athletes, we're going to rise to the competition. So if I put somebody else in there and he plays well, you better pick your shit up. Excuse my language, don't put that in there. All right? But you better pick your play up, otherwise you're going to get passed up.
So beyond those 5 or 6 veterans that we talked about a lot, what's your comfort level in that sort of second group as far as being able to put them out of the game?
Yeah, I mean, golly, we feel really good about Alex Harkey, coming in from Tyler, Texas Junior College, and he's done a great job transitioning into Division I football. He's been a great asset and gets a ton of reps with the different groups. Luke Eckert, he transferred in, and he'll be a second-year player, and he's grown into the interior position and can play on the outside as well. Feel really good where he's at, and then the last one, I think Bam Wells, we call him Bam, but Van Wells has really done a great job. He comes from a program down in Houston that, I mean, he's one of the smartest freshmen I've ever been around, to be honest. And so I really like where he's at, and then he has a little toughness to him. So those 3 of the newcomers have done great. And Travis Gray, local kid that's been here in the spring, he's picked up his level of play because he's seen the other guys. He's like, whoa, okay, it's different. I'm not playing because there's nobody else to play. I got to pick my game up. So really like where those 4 young guys are. Tank, yeah, no. So I put Tank in the other group.
Okay.
To be honest, Tank's a kid that obviously came off an injury last year, man, and didn't practice in the spring. Can I say that? Do you guys know that? Okay, that's fine. Didn't practice in the spring and wore we call it the blueberry jersey, right? Can't touch him, can't hit him, and we talked about all spring the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, every day he got to do a little bit more. He was that much more excited, that much more ready, and with linemen especially, most athletes, you have an injury and you go 2 ways. You either check out for the entire time of your injury, right, your recovery, or you're so motivated to get back and not get injured again. Tank's one of those guys that it motivated him, to be honest, and he was able to change his body during that time. And man, I'm really excited where Tank is. He's a very versatile kid that can play both sides. For a 7-footer, we call him Gigantor, for a 7-footer to be able to bend and move out of his stance and utilize his length. I mean, that's that's a real deal for him. So I'm really excited about Tank and where he's come from in a year's time.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah.